What is up, YouTube? If you don't already know who I am, my name is Mecca. This channel is called Mecca.mp4, where I basically just talk about my life as a Christian entrepreneur and try to help other Christian entrepreneurs along the way. Quick side note, I just want to announce that the Christian entrepreneur journey is actually finally live. You can find it down in the description below. I know a lot of people have been asking for this. This is really just a place where like-minded individuals who want to build business through Christ can come together, network, learn some skills, learn how to build offers, be valuable in the marketplace, and all of those things. First 25 members that join actually get a cool little surprise, just as an appreciation for being like the founding fathers of the community in a sense, because there's no community without you guys, without people participating, talking, sharing, things like that. And as the time of this recording right now, I'm not gonna lie, there's nobody in there, right? So, it's up to y'all to make the community jump, right? I can't do it, we all have to do it. So looking forward to that, and back to the video. As you guys can see by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about why hustle culture is killing you spiritually and how a lot of us are hustling ourselves away from God. Especially in 2025, we're in a culture now where it seems to be like hustling and overworking is glorified, where you're putting in 100-hour weeks. You're not really spending no time on the weekends to rest and recharge. It's always about go, go, go. People want more and more and more. They want more money, more success. They equivalent that to having to hustle more and having to outwork. And in turn, they're neglecting their spiritual lives, their relationships, their friends, their family. And ultimately, it's just killing them spiritually. And especially as Christian entrepreneurs, there's an aspect of hustle that we have to commit to, right? Like nothing's gonna come easy. You have to work in life to get things out of life, especially if you're starting your own business, starting your own venture, whatever it might be. You have to hustle, but we have to know the balance between overworking and working just enough, just so we're not neglecting other areas of our lives. So today we're gonna break down how hustle culture is killing you spiritually and how you can overcome it and make sure you're not hustling yourself away from God. So getting straight into it, why hustle culture is killing you spiritually. So the world has an obsession with the hustle, with the grind. People have been tricked into thinking that they're behind or they're not on time. They've been tricked into what's called hustle culture, a work ethic that prioritizes productivity and success over self-care and work-life balance. Like, we live in a crazy time with the age of social media, the age of Instagram, TikTok, where people can just post and front a lifestyle that a lot of the time they're not even truly living. And in a sense, it kind of falls down and trickles itself into other people's lives and hearts, where they have to think like, oh, wow, this person's doing this at this age. Why am I not doing it? Like, I feel behind. I'm not working hard enough. I got to hustle more. I got to grind more. We're just hustling out of a place where they just want to do good so they can prove to somebody else that they're doing good. So it's like they're not even working for themselves a lot of the time. It's like they're just trying to outwork so they can prove to somebody else that they're working. It's a crazy concept, and I'll be honest, like, I've fallen into that trap too, especially, being a young man, a young entrepreneur. You want to prove to your family, you want to prove to your friends that, you can do it. But in a sense, this just leads us and it tricks us into thinking that we're behind or we're not on time, and then we're rushing and we're not being patient. And in a sense, it's really just a means to an end. Right? Hustle culture refers to a mindset that just prioritizes excessive work and a relentless pursuit of success, often at the expense of personal well-being. There's no amount of grind, no amount of hustle that you need to be doing where you just start deteriorating, right? Like, your health starts going, you're not getting no sleep. In the Bible, there's so much emphasis on rest, right? And if you're hustling to the point where like your overall health is declining, like, bro, like, you got to reassess, you know what I'm saying? And by glorifying long hours and constant productivity, the idea that one must always be grinding, always in the lab, always locked in to achieve significant results. And this leads to neglecting other aspects of their life, other aspects of life, right? Other aspects like your spiritual life, other aspects like your relationships, talking to your family, your friends, right? Like, that, don't be that guy. Don't be that guy that's always grinding, always on the lab. You can't pick up the phone because you're always hustling. In a sense, like, what does that mean? Like, who cares if you're always hustling? So what if you're putting in 100-hour weeks and boasting about it? You're on the gram, always working, always grinding. I don't got time to call friends. I don't got time to do this, XYZ. Like, bro, you could very well die tomorrow. Like, it doesn't even matter how much you think you're grinding, how much time you're putting into the craft, whatever. Like, at the end of the day, this whole life, is a vanity within itself. You know, you could lose it all tomorrow. Like you could be up today and lose it all tomorrow. Think about the parable of the rich fool. The land of a rich man produced plentifully. And he thought to himself, what shall I do? I have nowhere to store my crops. And he said, I will do this. I will tear down my barns and build larger ones. And there I will store all my grain and my goods. And I will say to my soul, soul, you have ample goods laid up for you for many years. Relax, eat, drink, be merry. But God said to him, fool, this night your soul is required of you. And the things you have prepared, whose will they be? So is the one who lays up treasure for himself and is not rich towards God, right? This guy was probably on his grind. He was probably hustling. He was probably in the lab for years, right? His land was producing, you know, he had so many crops. He was so abundant, right? He had all the success, the bags, the house, cars, whatever. And he thought to himself like, man, I might as well, you know, chill. I'm good. You know, I've been grinding. You know, I'm gonna keep storing up stuff, building more wealth, doing all this because, you know, I'm good, right? I got all this success. But it's like God literally says, fool, this night your soul is required of you, and the things you have prepared, whose will they be? Right? Like this whole life, in a sense, if you ever read Ecclesiastes, you know, like all of this life is literally just vanity. We can't take anything with us. You can't take none of that to heaven. Like you can't take any of the things you've acquired to heaven. So it's like, why are we putting so much emphasis on having to hustle, having to grind, having to do all these things? And keep in mind, I'm not saying don't hustle, right? Because as Christian entrepreneurs, we have to grind, we have to hustle. There's a aspect of work that we have to put in. We have to understand the difference between overworking and working, you know, just right, working enough. We can't be grinding to the point where we're just sacrificing our spiritual health, that we're not spending time in the Word, that we're not spending time with God. There's levels to it, right? Levels of priority. You have to put the priority in perspective. Like how much time are you giving to God and how much time are you giving to work? Are you waking up every single day? Are you getting up, checking your phone, checking your bank account, checking your YouTube videos? And I'm guilty of this too. I knew it was bad for me when I was waking up and I'm grabbing my phone immediately and I'm checking my YouTube analytics, right? Like I'm prioritizing the hustle over God. Like I'm getting straight on my computer instead of giving my first of my time to the Lord, right? I have to put in perspective what truly matters, right? Like this YouTube, like all this stuff, these businesses, the money, the grind, like it's great, but it's not going with you, right? There is no eternal gain from the hustle. What has a man from all the toil and striving of heart from which he toils beneath the sun? For all his days are full of sorrow, and his work is a vexation. Even in the night, his heart does not rest. This is also vanity. There's no eternal grind from the hustle. If your God is your job or your occupation or your work or your business, you'll have no rest because you're always thinking about the grind. You're always thinking about the hustle. You're always thinking about your bag, like how you can preserve your bag, if someone's gonna take your bag, if someone's gonna thwart your hustle, whatever it might be, like you truly have no peace, right? And this is how I think about most entrepreneurs who aren't Christian, right? Because how can you truly have peace apart from Christ? You might, you know, rely on your money, rely on your funds, but as soon as your money or your funds go away, like where does your true peace come from? And we just have to think about those things, like there's no eternal gain from the hustle. And also, income does not equate self-value. We've been tricked, especially in this time and age, that the more money you have means the more worth and value you have. Like, trust me, there are lamos who are millionaires and billionaires. Like, your self-value doesn't come from how much possessions you have. Literally says here, take care and be on your guard against all covetousness, for one's life does not consist of the abundance of his possessions, right? It doesn't matter how much money you have. Money can't unlame a lame. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Okay, your life is not made up by your possessions. Okay, and it's like you can't put your faith in the hustle, in the grind, in your bag, in your occupation, because like I said, it's not going with us. There's no eternal gain from the hustle. And if your appetite is in materialism, you'll also never be satisfied. You'll just hustle yourself away from God. You'll be prioritizing the hustle, the grind, the next move over God. He who loves money will not be satisfied with money, nor he who loves wealth with his income. This is also vanity. If our God is money, if our God is getting to the bag and building the biggest business ever, right? And we're neglecting our spiritual life and our relationship with God, like we'll never be satisfied. We'll never truly have peace. And you have to ask yourself, are you spending more time and energy on your work than your relationship with God? Are you waking up every morning, getting on the computer, thinking about work, instead of praying? Like, you have to think about those things. And when you have that perspective change of where you want to give God your first putting more energy and time into the Lord instead of, working and all that, like it'll help your work, like God gives us strength to do the task and the mission that he's called us to do. So you just put those things in perspective. Like when you start focusing on God, your work will do better. The less you're attached to the world, the better you'll perform in it. Think about it like that. And it's never an excuse to say you can't pray or read the Bible just because you're working too much. Jesus had the biggest task, the biggest mission in all of humanity, human history, hands down. And he still made time to go off and pray alone. If you've ever read the Gospels, you can see consistently and constantly that Jesus is always saying he went off and prayed by himself. He had the biggest mission to die for all of our sins. And we think that just because we're working on our entrepreneurship, that we can't just pick up the Bible and go read and spend time in the Lord's presence, right? It's like, it doesn't make sense. Like, you're really just making your work an idol. And we know what the Lord say about them idols, right? And you can't serve two masters. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, yeah, man. I really hope you guys like this video. I hope you guys got some insight. I really just wanted to bring this up, especially as someone who wants to talk and communicate to Christian entrepreneurs. You really have to find the balance between hustling and over hustling, because in a sense, it'll just kill us spiritually. The hustle is never worth more than eternity. Like, you just have to really put things into perspective. Hustle doesn't make a man. Your spirit, your heart, your posture towards God is really what makes a man, So just things to think about. I hope you guys really like this video, that it ministers to someone's heart. And yeah, so you guys be blessed. You guys stay safe. So until next time, peace.